Good morning. Hello, everyone. It is a day to relax. Relax. Wednesday, hump day. Here we are. How's everyone doing this morning? Surviving homeschool, surviving whatever this new normal is. I have a lot of errands to run today, so I think I'll be catching up on some of my personal stuff today, which is good. So, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you to all of you for saying hi, letting me know you're out there. This morning I made myself an oat milk latte, which I always love, in my little relaxed mug. It is so yummy. For those of you who have never put oat milk in your coffee, give it a try. It is so good, especially steamed in a latte. It's so creamy. So all of you trying to get rid of dairy and look at something thicker, but oat milk is a great way to go. Good morning. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. Lots on the East Coast today, huh? So here in Arizona, we're experiencing like 117 degrees, 116 degrees, which, to be honest, is completely normal for us this time of year, but we all like to complain about it. Anyway, granted, we don't have the humidity that you guys on the East Coast have, and to be honest, that's way worse than what we go through, I think, because at least when we walk outside, we dry. It evaporates so fast because it's so dry. We're not soaking wet or anything like you guys are, but... All right, so it is Wednesday. I'm Dr. Tricia Pingel. This is your morning checkup, and we're actually going to talk about something today that you may or may have not heard of. It's kind of I don't want to call it a crazy topic, but it's kind of an interesting topic because it's a way to reduce stress in the body, number one, that you can do at home. You don't need a doctor. You don't need any type of anything. Like, you don't need anything other than your fingers, okay, and an open mind. So we're going to be talking about tapping therapy. Have you guys ever heard about emotional tapping therapy, EFT? So it kind of gets mixed reviews from people, from participants. Some people say, or I've talked to different providers, some people say, oh yeah, it doesn't do anything. I've seen patients dramatically improve their outlook by doing tapping therapy. So I've seen it on both sides. I've seen people go against it. I've seen people 100% support it. So if I find that you've got a 50-50 chance of it working, I think it's something that we should talk about, and I should educate you, because there's a lot of therapies out there for reducing stress, anxiety, depression that are medications. And we don't want to use medications when we don't have to, right? So if there's something you can do at home that can calm your body down, take you out of fear, fix yourself emotionally, I say let's do it, right? So we're going to do it today. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the research behind it, because there is a ton of research. I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's going to be a fun day. I've got some comments over there on Facebook that, yes, you've learned it. It's helped you. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Definitely on Instagram. A lot of you have heard of this as well. So awesome. I wasn't sure if today's topic was going to be met with a bunch of, Dr. Pingel, what's this, right? So let's learn about it, okay? That's why I'm here, right? I'm here to teach you about things that maybe you've never learned about, and then you decide whether it works for you or not. But I do like that this is free, right? It's an easy way to calm your body down. And I think most of us can agree that we're a little stressed out. We got a lot of stress going on, right? So if you hear the term emotional freedom, if I say I want you to be emotionally free, doesn't that kind of like make you think, wow, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, to just feel a little bit more open and free, right? Lighter, happier, free of fear, free of worry, free of stress, free of anxiety. I mean, I think all of us have some degree of fear, anxiety, stress, right? Different gradations of how serious in different people, different ways that it affects our lives based on how we interpret that information. So I've talked a lot about that with stress. All of us have stress, guys. There's nobody with no stress. There's stress everywhere. But how we bring it into our body is different, right? How we allow it to impact us is different. And that is why so many of these techniques work so well, because they change the way that you interpret stress. Okay? So, and when you change the way you interpret stress, you heal. Okay? Pretty cool. So let's talk about it. All right. I had a stat for you, and now my eyes missed it. How funny is that? Crazy. Well, I'll come back to it. All right. So first of all, let's talk about what it is. EFT. Okay? EFT is an acronym for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's done by tapping different parts of your body, right? So the idea behind EFT is that stress, particularly emotional stress, has the ability to hinder your body's natural and innate ability to heal. And we've talked about that a lot, right? We've talked about how cortisol fluctuations, how stress, how fear, how worry can actually negatively impact our health. And so that's what this therapy is based off of, is figuring how to make that shift so that it doesn't have that negative impact on your ability to heal, okay? Good to hear it. A lot of people are saying you've done it before and it's great. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. So this will be a lot of fun today, and hopefully many of you can start incorporating it that haven't. So how does EFT tapping work? Okay, first of all, think kind of like a needle-free form of acupuncture. So we've talked about acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, and when we've talked about that, we've talked about these meridians that move energy through our body, right? And the purpose of doing acupressure or acupuncture is to release energy and move energy in those meridians. Well, this has kind of a similar impact without the needles. Yay. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of needles. I mean, I love acupuncture and I love the benefits, but I'm not a fan of needles. Like, don't put needles near me. But the founder of EFT tapping therapy was Gary Craig, and he referred to it as the emotional version of acupuncture, okay? So that's even the founder kind of thought of it in that way. So the goal of EFT is to generate or direct flow of energy in your body by applying pressure to certain points, okay? And this can be done anywhere by anyone in any place for zero money with zero equipment other than your fingers. Okay? Free therapy. We always like free therapy, right? Thank you for all your comments over there. I appreciate it. All right, so first, this is how we do it. Before you start this tapping, you have to first key in on the specific emotional concern you have. Okay, so let's say you're afraid of bears and you're going camping, right? We talk about a bear a lot. Let's use the bear, right? So you would say, okay, how do I feel? When I think about a bear, I feel fear. I feel worry. I feel concern. I don't want to go. I want to stay home. I'm afraid, right? So you tap in on that emotion, okay? To relate this more to time, I have a lot of people who are afraid to go to the grocery store because of COVID. Like, that's a great, why? What's the feeling? You don't just say, I'm afraid of COVID, right? You say, well, I feel fear. I feel hesitation. I feel uncomfortable. I feel scared, right? So you come up with that, right? And then we start tapping, okay? So according to TCM philosophy, there's 12 meridians. Tapping therapy uses 9 of them, okay? So EFT focus on these 9, and you do this by tapping on a certain point on your body, but the first thing you do is you start focusing on your emotional concern, and then you move through the tapping. So let me show you where the points are, and then we'll kind of go through it together. So the first point is on the outer side of the hand, like a karate chop, okay? Then you go up to the top of your head. See if my camera on Facebook is lower. Top of your head. Inner point of your eyebrow. Outer corner of your eye socket. Right below the eye. Below your nose. Below your chin. Near a little depression between the collarbones. And under your arm, like maybe a little bit below your armpit. Okay? So the first thing you do is you focus on this specific concern, okay? And if you guys want a video, by the way, of how to do this, I do have it linked in the article. But you focus on your concern. I'm afraid of a bear. I'm fearful to go camping. I'm afraid to do it, right? And you start stating it in a short phrase while you're tapping the karate point, okay? So like, I'm afraid to go with a bear. And you need to keep this. I'm not gonna be able to keep saying that while I show you, but you're gonna basically be focusing on that, right? And then you move to each of these points tapping each point 3 or 4 times while you're reciting this in your head. Okay, so you're reciting, I'm afraid of the bear, I'm afraid of the bear, I'm afraid of the bear, right? Whatever, I don't like how I feel with this, I'm afraid of doing this. So you start here, and then you tap the top of your head. I do it on both sides. Inner point of your eyebrow, outer point of your eyes, under your nose, onto your chin, into your collarbone, and under your arms, okay? And you do this in a sequence, okay? Now, typically you'll do this 3 or 4 times in a row, okay? So once you've gone through it about 2 to 3 times, take a moment and assess how you feel. How do you feel about that bear now? Anything change? If nothing's changed, we need to do it again, okay? Sounds weird, sounds kooky. I know, I thought the same thing, but it works in many people. In fact, I would say the majority of the people. And when you hear the research associated with it, you'll be shocked, okay? Because you think, geez, Dr. Pingel, really? You're gonna have me tap my head and my eyes and my nose and I'm gonna feel better? Yeah, whatever, right? I know what some of you are thinking. You think I'm nuts. But I'm just sharing with you a technique that's worked for so many people. It's worth sharing and it's worth hearing about, especially because it's free, right? So once you've gone through this 2 or 3 times, you should start to notice that your thought about it are changed. Bra line, that's a great way to say it. Thank you. Down here, right? That's a great way to say it. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about the research surrounding this silly little tapping, right? I want to remind you before I do that, when we talked before about fear and how fear impacts the amygdala and how the amygdala impacts the prefrontal cortex and causes a change in the brain that makes you more fearful. So if you've stimulated fear enough, you will become more and more and more fearful and you will make poorer decisions. The prefrontal cortex doesn't interpret data right when it's under constant fear. And this is why some of the concerns in our society right now are more so with the emotional impact. Suicide, depression, anxiety, because we're being stimulated with a lot of fear and it's causing us to then have fear about other things and start kind of jumbling our brain up a little bit and losing our grounding and losing our focus. So this therapy can be great for that, okay? So for any of you going through that, I encourage you to give this a try, okay? So numerous studies on stress and EFT. In fact, it is probably one of the greatest benefits EFT is one of its greatest benefits is to combat stress response, okay, and in research. And let me just remind you, 77% of Americans regularly report that they experience physical symptoms due to stress. 77%, okay? And up to 90% of all doctor's visits are due to some stress-related problem. Yes, Sandra, absolutely works for an anxiety, depression, and I'm going to talk about it in a second. Yeah, absolutely. So, 90% of all doctor's visits, stress-related problems. 77% of Americans report physical problems due to stress. This is a pandemic all in itself, okay? Epidemic, pandemic, whatever. It's a problem. It's one of the most prevalent health concerns, particularly in America, but I would venture to say definitely worldwide as well. So the link between EFT and stress has been studied extensively. Okay, this is a big area of research in this particular medicine. There was a 2012 study where researchers assigned 83 participants to one of 3 groups. Group number 1 did EFT, group number 2 did psychotherapy, group number 3 did nothing. Okay, and they found that the EFT group showed significant improvements across a number of areas, okay? Specifically, coming to that anxiety question, Sandra, specifically the group's anxiety that did the EFT, group 1, their anxiety reduced by over 58%. Could you imagine, take your last time you felt anxiety, could you imagine that automatically being relieved by 60% by just doing EFT? Crazy, right? 58%. Depression reduced by 49%. That's half, okay? In addition, that wasn't it, okay? That was the beginning. In addition, the overall severity of the symptoms were reported to decrease by 50%. Also, the cortisol levels Okay, they tested with saliva, the cortisol levels, which is our response to stress, had dropped by 24%. Okay, that's not all. They took this EFT group and they compared them to the psychotherapy group and the no therapy group. Okay, and they found that the psychotherapy group's cortisol level dropped about 14%. It was 14.25, and the no therapy group dropped by 14.4%. So they were about equal. Remember, the EFT was 24%, 10% higher, right? Improvement. Pretty cool. Leah, I'm very sorry to hear about your loss, honey. I hear you. I think I've talked about that before. It's very close to my heart, so I'm really sorry to hear that. It is, though. It is becoming a problem with people taking their own lives and such due to stress and anxiety. So anything we can do to uplift these people and uplift you, tag people that need this, okay? Be there for them. A lot of people are going through a really hard time right now. So cortisol levels were reduced the most in the EFT group, okay? That's not the only study that has showed this. There's been many others. There was another one that was pretty cool, looking at EFT reducing anxiety, depression, PTSD, and more. They also found that EFT tapping therapy can reduce pain by 57% and cravings by 74%. Okay, there's a lot of pain syndromes out there right now. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, we've got achy muscles and joints. I just said that this can reduce pain by 57%. I don't even know if an Advil can do that. So we're gonna talk more about that in a second. Hang on to that thought, okay? So let's talk about anxiety a little bit more specifically and how this can help with anxiety. Are you guys enjoying this? Am I too hyper for you today? We needed something uplifting today, guys. All right, calms anxiety. As I discussed, EFT has been shown to significantly impact anxiety in a very favorable way. It actually works right away. It doesn't take a lot of time, and that's kind of the cool thing. People are always looking for a quick fix. What can I take to do this or that, right? This is a great practice for you. If you can do this every day, even multiple times a day, I promise you, you will start to change your outlook. It's just anytime that you take anything for yourself, a moment to recognize your emotions, sort through your emotions, figure out why they're happening and try to change them, it's always going to have a positive outlook on your life. When we get stuck is when we're not trying to grow, when we're not trying to change. Okay, so this is a great opportunity and something that all of you can start today that will only benefit you. It's not going to harm you. Excuse me, I forgot my water today, but it's all good. More latte for me. All right, anxiety. There was a 2019 study, so this was just last year, where they found that EFT can significantly reduce anxiety symptoms after only one session. That's right, one session. Awesome. But how does it work? Why? You always want to know the why. Researchers found that EFT specifically impacts the stimuli that elicits fear and anger. Now, what's the number one reason you have anxiety? Fear, right? It's a natural response. If you're in the woods and you see a bear and you're scared, that fear will help you run. The problem is when we're given fear from every single corner. I mean, I remember being a new parent and my husband would always make fun of me. He's like, well, we should just put our kid in a bubble, right? Because I was like, oh my God, he's on a roller skate. Oh my God, he's on a bicycle. Oh my God, he's going to hurt himself. Like these little things even. That was all out of fear, right? Fear causes anxiety. You worry about what's going to happen instead of just being present in the moment and doing what you can do right now for right now. You know, we worry too much about what's going to happen 3 minutes from now or 15 minutes from now or a year from now. And unfortunately, that fear causes anxiety. EFT reverses that. It helps you be in the now. Okay? So you're experiencing anxiety. You're experiencing fear right now. Give this a try. Okay? It's worth the investment in your mental health. Okay? Now, on the flip side, oh, and I should also say when you're angry, like if you get, we're living with our kids right now, like 24/7, right? They're not going to school. They're going to school online. And it's been a very long summer. In Arizona, we've been out of school since March, you know, either online or whatnot. And, when you get frustrated when you're around your family that much, when you're in the same thing, I get angry because my kids, took a snack to their room and the dog ate it, or like, they spilled juice all over their floor or whatever, and you feel yourself getting angry. This is a great thing to do. Walk away, do some tapping, go back. Okay, because anger can also be diffused really quickly with tapping therapy. Okay, so anger and fear, the two emotions that can get us into the most trouble. Okay, that are also bred out of unknown, not knowing the unknown, not trusting. Okay, we need to just trust. This is all a process we're going through for a reason, and we need to trust it. Okay, this will help you do that. On the flip side, it also helps a lot with depression. Okay, so they also found, well, first of all, before I tell you about this study, did you know that globally, depression impacts over 264 million people? And those are the people who are clinically being treated. Okay, that doesn't include all the people that aren't talking about it, which is a lot of you, right? I have someone saying they had anxiety for 2 weeks and it was alleviated in 2 rounds of EFT. That's awesome. I love it. I love that. That helps so many people. Your experience and sharing that will help so many people here that listen. Thank you so much for that, Janice. Thank you. But think about it. 264 million people that have actually reported depression. Guys, that's a lot of people, okay? That's a lot. And guess what? Suicide, and I'm sure it's gone up. If you look at 2018 numbers and 2019 numbers, suicide was like the 10th leading cause of death or something. I mean, before COVID, all we heard about is, hey, 1-800 suicide numbers, called, suicide's on the rise, depression's on the rise, it's an epidemic, blah, blah, blah. And then we hit COVID and we're not talking about it as much anymore, which is a shame because it's very, very, very prevalent, okay? And it's impacting people that I love, it's impacting people that you love, and it hurts. It hurts to watch people go in that cycle. Depression is a big deal. And depression has been shown to be impacted favorably by EFT. Okay, so 2016 meta-analysis of 20 studies, they found that EFT was found to be incredibly effective treatment for depression. Average reduction of symptoms, listen to this, average reductions of symptoms, 41%. Okay, they also found that EFT was effective or superior than the standard depression treatment. Whoa, right? I have a question. What is EFT? You know what? You definitely can go back and watch this from the beginning. It'll post there on Facebook as soon as I'm done, so you can watch it from the beginning. I encourage you to do so. But it's emotional freedom technique with tapping. Okay? It's really cool. I showed you how to do it too. Go back and watch when we're done. All right? So I talked about helping reduce pain earlier. Think of all the pain syndromes we have out there. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. We've got rheumatoid arthritis. We've got all sorts of pain syndromes. What's another huge epidemic in our country? The opioid, right? People are taking pain medications. They're addicted to pain medications, right? Why? Because they have pain, right? There's a huge link between depression, anxiety, and pain. One of the main treatments for fibromyalgia is an antidepressant. Why? Because there's a link, okay? This causes pain, I see it in my kids, if they fall, like my son falls in his rollerblades, and if I react, oh my God, are you okay? He starts crying, right? If I'm like, oh, hey dude, how you doing? He's like, oh, I'm fine, right? So whatever he interprets in here, right? Should he be scared or not, right? But it has been shown in studies to reduce pain, and this is fascinating. This is absolutely fascinating. They did a study, it was in 2014, on about 60 veterans, okay? And these veterans had PTSD, and they started using EFT as a supplemental therapy, and it resulted in a 41% decrease in pain, okay? Then, when the researchers followed up with these veterans 6 months later, the veterans still reported significantly less pain 6 months later, okay? Additionally, there was a 2017 study on 24 patients with chronic pain that revealed that EFT helped not only to decrease the severity of the pain, but also improved their anxiety and depression, okay? This is a free technique that you can do at home every single day to benefit not only pain, but your mood and your outlook and reduce stress on the body. Win, win, win. You want to hear another win? You guys enjoying this? If you have no sound, make sure you unmute me. I think it's in the corner on Instagram. I can't remember if it's on the upper or the bottom. Unmute me. Everyone else can hear me, right? Improve sleep. Here's another bonus. How many of you aren't sleeping well right now? Go ahead, raise your hand, right? I'm not sleeping that great right now either. I'm sleeping good. I mean, I sleep well, but I'm not sleeping as well as I normally do. Just because of stuff going on. You know, I just have a lot going on in my brain. Need to do some more EFT. But EFT has been shown to extend or to help fight insomnia and improve sleep. And this makes sense because if you're emotionally worried about something, if you're running from a bear and you sit down by a tree and you try to fall asleep and your brain's like, oh my God, there's a bear. Oh my God, there's a bear. You're not going to sleep well, right? So if you're running off fear, anger, worry, you're not going to get restful sleep. So that's why it makes complete sense why EFT would help with insomnia, right? Because it calms that fear. And when it calms that fear, you're more comfortable falling asleep behind the tree, right? And there were studies on this. They did another study on veterans. In fact, they do a lot of studies on veterans and surrounding EFT because of the PTSD component of it, right? And the pain component from the PTSD, very, very common in veterans. And it's a shame because, they fought for our country, right? So they should, be happy and they did something great and they survived and they made it back. But a lot of them suffer from PTSD and pain. So it makes it a great sample size for this type of thing. But 21 veterans, PTSD, the veterans saw a significant improvement in insomnia after 6 sessions. 6 sessions, guys. Additionally, 2015 study revealed that EFT was more effective than sleep hygiene education for improving insomnia. I have a question. Can you combine EFT and vagus breathing? Absolutely. Highly recommend breathing for your vagus nerve. Absolutely. The more you can do to access parasympathetic activity in the body to calm the body down, the healthier you will be long term. 100%. I 100% believe that. That's what my whole program is based off of. If you don't start paying attention to the stress response in your body, if you don't start paying attention to that overstimulation, you will get sick. That's it, right? You will. So that's where the Total Health Turnaround program comes in, teaches you how to access parasympathetic activity, teaches you how to eat nutrition, teaches you what herbs and supplements could be beneficial based on your lifestyle, teaches you how your body's impacted by stress. That's what my program's all about. For many of you have asked questions, check it out, totalhealthturnaround.com. Because if we don't calm our stress response down, we're going to get sick. And who I worry about the most are the little ones, the little kids. Who are waking up or growing up in this stressed environment, and it's just not healthy. And we're seeing more and more disease in younger people, right? So check it out, totalhealthturnaround.com if you're interested. Lastly, and you guys are going to love this one, and you'll probably be surprised by it. EFT supports healthy weight management. Okay? Do you believe it? It's crazy, right? There was actually a study published this year, 2020, where researchers evaluated the effect of EFT on food cravings, dietary restraint, and subjective power of food, weight changes, and self-reported symptoms. So what they did is the study took place over 2 years, okay? And this was after the participants completed an 8-week course on EFT. Amazingly, okay, these researchers found that the participants reported reduced food cravings by 28%. Find me a diet that reduces your cravings by 28%, right? It's crazy. It's awesome. And their anxiety decreased by 23%. They weren't even looking at that, and it decreased. In addition, their self-reported symptoms decreased by just over 10%. Also, their BMI and their weight significantly decreased. Crazy. Is EFT safe for children? Absolutely. Absolutely. If your child has a hard time falling asleep, try some tapping. I also think it's always good for kids to get in touch with their emotions, to understand where that emotion's coming from, because that's what they're learning, right? When my son gets frustrated, my 9-year-old gets frustrated, and he acts out a little. He kind of does dumb things. And I'm like, what are you doing? But he's acting out of a quick emotion, right? He doesn't know any better. So teaching him how to connect with those emotions, how to reset his own brain, is very, very important. I had a question, what is vagus breathing? Sandra, check out my website, drpingel.com, and type in vagus or nerve, and it'll pull it up. I also have a live on the vagus nerve. Okay, it's a nerve. And it's the nerve that, very quick answer is, it's the nerve that accesses our parasympathetic nervous system. So if you can access it with proper breathing, with certain techniques, I use Pilates, I flip upside down, things like that, you can actually calm the body down. It's pretty cool. Okay? So yes, children for sure. Absolutely. In fact, I think this is great for children. I think anything that connects their brain and their body is going to benefit them, because unfortunately, what we're doing in a society is we're moving them towards electronics, we're moving them towards distancing, we're moving them towards less social involvement person to person. And so they're getting more in their head. They need to connect the two. Okay? So, yeah, pretty cool. Just to review for those of you that are joining in, and then you can go back and watch it all. There are about 6 benefits I discussed today of tapping therapy. Fights stress, which is probably one of the most profound. Calms anxiety, fights depression, reduces pain, improves sleep, and supports healthy weight management. All of this from simply tapping. Crazy, right? Remember those points? All right, so I have an article at this at drpingel.com. If you type in tapping in the search bar, I'm sure you'll find it. It is called Tapping and Emotional Healing, the 6 benefits of EFT tapping therapy. Check it out. Andrea, usually it's 3 to 4 taps per spot. I mean, you could adjust that. You know, if you find you relax better when you do 5 taps or whatever, that's fine. But typically they say start with like 3 to 4 taps per spot and then do it multiple times. Every 3 cycles or so, take assessment. Have you calmed down? Have you changed your outlook? Are you becoming more clear? If not, do it again, right? This, just like every other meditation technique or every other mind-body technique, this takes practice, okay? Most people notice results really fast. Now, there's some people that maybe are very disconnected, right? So it's going to take them a little bit longer to start to feel that connection change, okay? I've helped my mom with painful childhood memories using EFT. I've experienced pain management too. It's incredible. Yeah, Janice, it's awesome. Thank you again for sharing your experience. A lot of people don't know about this. So you guys, this is a community, right? Yes, I get up, I get up and I talk about all this and I share this with you, but you guys also share with each other, and I love watching it. It's great. Please, can you explain for afraid in children and people? It's exactly the same, Janet, for older people, for younger people. Non-age discriminate. Go back and watch from the beginning. Give it a try. The real difference is, what are you thinking about? What are the fears? The fears in a child may be different than fears in older, right? But you need to address those fears and reset them. But you can use this across all age groups. Obviously doesn't interact with medications, right? So this is a pretty safe therapy that you can incorporate. There are videos on YouTube. My article actually has a link to do it as well, so that you can kind of understand it. You guys, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. Thank you for being here today. Love seeing you guys. I'll be here tomorrow, 9:15, my usual time, with another topic. So thanks for being so open-minded today to something a little bit different, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye now.